Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. I'm Kel.
And this is Misfit.
And we are here to talk Stage 3, Week 3, Thursday. So starting it off, we have the Houston Outlaws going against your guys, the Florida Mayhem.
Okay, this is going to be a pretty interesting match, I think, from the start. Depends on, like we were talking before we started today, is if Logix is going to be back. I think he is because I saw on social media, he seems to be okay. I think they play better with Logix and rotating in and out to Vic and Saya player. Mm-hmm. But other than that, they got to get their, the one thing they got to get rolling is their tanks got to get back onto the way they were playing in Stage 2.
Yeah.
I know Awesome Guy's new and they got to get him acclimated and all that. That's hard to do with a tank. Maybe they should play Swoosh in this one. And
yeah, I feel like they should just roll with Swoosh and Manitin all game in this one for sure, because they're playing a team that is desperate for a win because they've been subpar in this stage. Yeah. So they're probably looking at this match as an opportunity to pick up some maps and try and get back into place. But at the same time, Florida's nothing. They can't just overlook them and think, oh, we're just going to steamroll them.
Right. They can't do that. And like you said, they're desperate for a win. The maps kind of favor Houston a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Because Jake can do his Jake things on, they have Anubis and they have Junkertown and you got Ilios. It plays well into their scheme. And Florida is terrible on Anubis and mediocre on the rest of the maps, really.
But honestly, Houston has not been...
Houston hasn't set the world on fire either.
Yeah, they have not been the same team that they were in Stage 1 on Anubis.
Yeah. Everyone's figuring out that thing. But Houston has to come out and they have to play like they did. They have to get things back in order. And the problem is going to be the usual problem with them. Who's going to take on Logix or Say a player when they're on the Tracer? Jake looked a little bit better in the last match he played on Tracer, but it's still not up to where some of these guys are. And it's killing them, literally.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the fact that they keep trying to force Jake or Linkser to play Tracer is just... It's absurd to me at this point. Like, the fact that they didn't even try to pick up a Tracer player, like a dedicated Tracer player, before the end of the trade deadline or the deadline where they could pick up players, like...
Yeah, that was kind of baffling.
Absurd to me. But also, I mean, that does kind of raise some questions. Like, I get having a trade deadline. It seems like it's a little soon to have that. It seems a little early to cut that off. I feel like that should have been... Like the end of Stage 3 should have been the cutoff for that. Or
like Week 4, Stage 3. Yeah. And like you sign the players have to be in by Stage 4.
Right.
So like even if you're trying to sign a player and
But I'm just talking trade deadline.
Honestly, trades, yeah.
I think they should be able to sign a player as long as it's like, especially if it's a player that either hasn't been in the league or has been off a team for a certain amount of time. They should be able to sign them right up until, like, a week or two before the playoffs for them to be eligible for the team to play them then. Like,
that actually sounds better than before Stage 4, like you're saying.
But, I totally get the trade deadline should be before Stage 4.
Yeah, the signing deadline should be way later.
Yeah, to have a signing deadline halfway through the season just seems really absurd to me because, that's half your season where you're just, kind of stuck with the roster. Like, what if you run into a situation where you don't have enough people on your roster and then you need to sign somebody desperately, like Boston is kind of doing right now. I mean,
they're just kind of stagnant.
They're rolling with what they have, and they're doing really well, and, they seemed like they were equipped properly, but at the same time, it's like, what if they didn't? What if they didn't have mistakes? And what if he wasn't able to step up the way that they needed him to? They'd have been completely screwed.
Yeah, and there's no saying that Mistakes is going to be able to step up continually for the next, 8 matches.
To be that versatile player that they need him to be, to have that huge hero pool. And it's like, he might be really good at these other things, but, what if you need him to play the other characters that he hasn't played yet that you got from Dream Casper? It's like, you don't have anybody to take that spot.
Yeah, and you have 2 guys out there that, are great players that got cut, that can't sign. You got Envy, and you got Rascal. I mean, Rascal is apparently a toxic, crazy motherfucker, but What I'm saying is, like, you mean to tell me that Boston wouldn't have, if they had the signing deadline was later, that they wouldn't have picked up Rascal? Because he's got the same hero pool as Dreamcasper.
Right.
But minus the Pharah, but still, I mean, you got a great Genji player, and you can use mistakes like you were using before, or, rotate those two guys in.
Well, plus I feel like they would have done a way better job of being able to properly integrate Rascal to what they needed him to do.
Well, they don't have a bunch of buffoons on their team running it.
No kidding.
Not necessarily on it. That's a story for the beginning of next week, folks.
Yeah.
Our usual, start the week off, talk about the shit show that's the Dallas Fuel. Let's get back to this match. I'm going to have to go with Houston. I think it's going to be really close, though.
Yeah.
I just think Houston, not that Florida isn't desperate for a win, but Houston wants to get back up into the thick of things. And, they're still fighting for the overall playoffs. It's also going to be interesting to see whether they play Fact Fiction or they play Muma or who they're playing on Tank. Because both of them are really good.
Yeah, like that's the thing is like they've both been really solid main tanks. So you're not really like you're just kind of staying the same no matter who you play.
But I think they should throw in. I know Jake and Lynx are great. I keep saying this. I don't think they're enamored with his tracer play, but throw in Clockwork every once in a while and see what he can do. Yeah. I mean, I think people need to learn from what kind of the Gladiators and to somewhat an extent, like even yesterday, like the Valiant are doing. Everyone thinks Soon as like this great just tracer main, but you have Bunny on there and you can see what else Soon can do. Yeah. Why don't we put in Clockwork and let him focus on the tracer and then we can see what Jake and Lynxer can do on the other stuff.
Right. Well, cause that's the other thing is like, there's certain situations where you can totally play Jake and Lynxer and it'll work out fine. But there's going to be other times where it's like you absolutely need that tracer player. And you're shooting yourself in the foot trying to force those two into, like, one of those two guys into playing that character. Like, it's like neither one of them has, like, any experience playing Tracer. Like, and that's not even just in the league. That's overall.
And they've said it, too.
Yeah, they're the first ones to say, like, I think I had, like, 30, like, I think Jake said, I think I have 30 minutes of playtime on Tracer. Like, Jesus Christ.
And I'm terrible at hit scanning. That's about what I have on Tracer. Right. And I'm not a pro. It could be, you wouldn't take a hit scan player and put him on a projectile, I mean, nobody does that in the league.
Except Dallas when they go to AKM to play, Genji.
Oh, like... I said nobody does it in the league. I'm talking about teams that are like focused on playing in the league. Anyway. So we've managed to bash the Dallas Fuel in a match they're not even involved in. All right, I'm going with Houston.
They make it too easy. I'm sorry.
It's at this point it's not even fun anymore. Right. Well, no, never mind.
Nah, it's still fun.
But 400 damage on Genji. I think
he basically took the standard amount of time, or the base amount of time it takes to get your ult to get his ult, and I think he killed like one person with it.
Yeah, he had one dash. He got a support, I think. Yeah, it's basically like taking Effect's cat and putting him in on Genji.
You might as well have me playing Genji.
Why don't we just get Effect to get all his cats up there and just get him pissed off? No, that would be better than what they're playing with now. Right. No okay, let's focus back on this.
We gotta go back.
We can do like 6 hours on the fucking Dallas Fuel.
Just ripping them apart.
And I don't care at this point. They should know it themselves. Anyway, Houston, both of us got Houston. Yeah. Florida, I love you.
I think I put
Please come through for me, but
I put Houston as a 3-1.
Yeah. I would go 3-1. Junkertown maybe means something. Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, and like I don't think it's going to be a steamroll job or anything like that. It's going to be pretty close matches. Just but you'll just see that desperation and determination from Houston. Yeah. We'll just kind of edge it out.
I mean, we're going to have some good Widow play on this one. Yes. With Saya player and Lynxer. That's going to be fun to watch.
And probably some Logics in there too. Yeah. I mean, Logics is a damn good Widowmaker as well. Yeah. And so is Tavik. Yeah, the
Widowmaker battle is going to be really, really good in that. And speaking of really, really good, let's talk about the next match. Yes. Which the next two matches, I mean, all the matches today are going to be great. This one's huge. Yes. Huge.
This is...
Especially for London.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a more impactful game for London than it is for Boston. Yeah. Because London they're on the outside looking in on the stage playoffs right now. It's not looking so good for them.
Yeah. And then later in the week, they got the Valiant. That's going to be for second place.
Yeah.
Because the Valiant aren't losing anytime soon. At least with the way I look at it. It's maybe to London, but, you know, they have to lock this one down in order to be relevant in the stage. Because they'll be behind Dallas if they lose.
Yeah.
Which I never thought I'd say that. Well, except for before the season. But, yeah, they got to come out and they got to kick Boston's ass. They got to 4-0 them to keep the distance between themselves and the other teams.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's really not. I don't know, because just the way that Boston has been playing, it's hard to pick against them. And the really big thing with London is if they take it to a map 5, I have no faith in them.
No, none.
If they don't win in the first 4 maps, then they're done.
Yeah, and I think, you know, sometimes I think that panic sets in a little bit.
Yeah. Like, oh shit, we can't have this go to Oasis or we're screwed.
Yeah, and it can't go to Junkertown for them. They have to be 2-1 in the 2-1 lead going into Junkertown. If they have to win Junkertown, it's over. I said that about
But even then they still I mean,
they gotta go to map 5 and they're just done.
Horrible map pool for London.
Yeah.
This is like all of their absolute worst maps. And it's just so weird that these are the maps that they struggle with so hard.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, like, when they're really locked down and focused, like, they can beat anybody, but for whatever reason, those maps just really fuck with them. And I don't understand it.
Yeah, they're okay on, like, Anubis. They're okay. You know, Nimbani, they're okay. Ilios is a control map, so, or a King of the Hill map, so you know what that end result usually is.
Right.
But they're better on Ilios than most other ones. But that's still, I mean, Boston's just better right now. I mean,
Boston's a phenomenal they're phenomenal in Nimbani.
Yeah.
They're pretty damn good on Anubis. I think it's really, this will be decided almost in the first game.
Yeah. And the thing is Boston doesn't have a Farah anymore, but London doesn't have one either, so you don't have to worry about that on Ilios, really. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they'll pull some, maybe Mistakes will play, Farah on that, or however they're going to work it. Right. But London will put Prophet or somebody on there, or Birdring, and then they end up switching to, their main heroes anyway after one round, like if they're playing on Well or something like that. Yeah. They don't really stick with it. It's not like, Philadelphia or, another team, like, say, the Gladiators with Hydration that have a good Farah play. Right. So that's not going to come into a factor, into play anymore because Dreamcasper's gone. But even with that, it's hard to go against Boston. It is. And, but you're looking at London, it's one of those situations where you're going, they're going to click at some point. Yeah. You're trying to figure out when they're going to click. Is it going to be this match against Boston, or is it going to be the next match against the Valiant? Because if they don't, they're going to be out for the stage. And if they're going to have that moment, it needs to happen now. Yeah. This is their make or break moment. It needs to be either this match or the game against the Valiant, and I would say it needs to be this match, because trying to do that against this Valiant team that is just tough, playing out of their freaking minds right now. Yeah. That's going to be tough. Especially watching them the way they played against the Gladiators. Well, that match is always just good. Yeah. But they were on it on the Gladiators, and London's got to be nervous about that. And they can't do the split squad thing, really. Because they got 2 tough matches this week. No, they got to play their A-team on both of these maps. Well, even that being said, last week they tried the split squad, and Florida started taking it to them. They had to put Bedosin and Nuss and Fury. They had to put all those guys in there, or Wuyal, and they had to put the main lineup back in because they couldn't lose. Right. And they're starting to get panicky. Yeah, they are. And Boston, all across the board too. It's not just Mistakes and Striker that are doing the work. Their supports are playing out of their minds, and their tanks are, Gamsu is probably top five Winston player in the league. Oh yeah, Gamsu's been an absolute monster. And Note and Kelios, whoever plays, usually they've been playing Note a lot more, but those guys are just good. Yeah, and they might not be on paper on par with London, but as far as the way they're playing right now, they are. Oh, if not better. Definitely. Gestures hasn't looked like he did in the first 2 stages in the last couple matches. Gesture looks like he's completely fallen off. He just is not the same player that he was for whatever reason, and him not playing at that level is just like, it's sinking the entire rest of the team. Yeah. And, I think not much has been said about their coach leaving, but it seems to me as much of a problem as everyone seemed to have with that coach that they had on that team, they're more disorganized now.
Yeah.
They don't have those crisp dives like they used to have before. Everyone's in the right spot, and they were just taking it to people.
Yeah, now, they just don't look as cohesive as they did when he was around.
And you got to be on it with Boston, because their dive, the way they're running dive comp now, especially when they play on maps like Numbani, and Numbani is like their best map, and they're just they'll shred London.
And this is a worrisome matchup for London, and I think we both are picking Boston for this.
Yeah, I'm taking Boston.
Yeah, I picked Boston to win it 3-2, because if it goes to map 5, then London is screwed.
Yeah, and that's in the back. That's not in the back of their heads anymore. That is in the front of their mind.
Yeah,
because when they start getting you lose map 1. If you're going 1-1, if they lose Ilios, which is the absolute worst spot for the King of the Hill map for them in the progression of how they're playing at this stage.
Right.
They have to win stage 3. They can't go into Junkertown.
Yeah. They have to win map 3 because, they're not even the best on Junkertown either. And Boston's really good on Junkertown.
Yeah, and the thing is this is like a nightmare map setup for them.
It really is.
That's why I'm going Boston.
Especially against Boston, because Boston is so good on 2 of the maps, especially.
Yeah.
And if London doesn't win Anubis, then they're sunk.
Yeah.
Like, the only chance they have is to win Anubis and then kind of let it play out from there. But if they lose Anubis, then they're
toast.
Done. They might not even get to game 5.
That wouldn't shock me at all.
No.
The way Boston's playing right now. So we both got Boston in that one. Okay, now another big matchup. Got the rematch from the Stage 2 finals. Philadelphia and the New York Excelsior.
This is another good one. Really good one.
And both of these teams are playing. They both play so good, man.
Yeah.
It's the same map setup as we had, for the other match, the last one. And with these two teams, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
You got everyone's playing at such a high level on like all facets of their game. You can't go, well, Anubis is this.
Yeah. But no, really, Ilios is probably one of New York's best. Because that's where they can have Pine come in and just completely shred.
But you still got to deal with EQO or Carpe.
Yeah.
Snillo. It's so even now. I mean, as good as you want to say Sabiobi is, Snillo is on his level, if not better, right now playing. Overall, you're going to say Sabiobi.
With the whole body of work, Sabiobi wins it, but that's just because Snillo hasn't been in the league until recently.
Yeah, and like the DPS all cancel each other out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Libero and EQO, Shadowburn, or Carpe.
Even I think New York definitely has the edge on
tanks
on support.
And support, but
I think tanks are probably like a slight edge to New York, but really not that much. I think there's probably the biggest gap is support, just because that's how good Jonak and Arc are.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, I'm like slight, and I'm like, yeah, but it's Jonak and Arc. And since everybody has thrown out the return of the Lucio meta, and they're just like, fuck this, we're running Mercy.
Yeah.
You got Arc on Mercy, and you got Jonak doing his Jonak things.
Yeah. It's just, what do you do?
And especially in the maps that we got, you're going to be seeing a lot of Mercy.
Right.
You're not going to run Lucio that much in this today at all. You're not going to see much of that. You might see some Moira.
Yeah.
More Moira than Lucio play. They're even on the Moira play.
Yeah, you can run Moira on Anubis and Junkertown.
Yeah,
and parts of Numbani.
Yeah, because Jonak and Boombox are both really good on, and I think they're even on Moira. He's just such a godsend over Boombox. That's the only deciding factor in that.
But that's not even anything against Boombox.
No, it's not anything against Boombox at all.
How good Jonak is.
Yeah.
But Boombox is he's not the sniff at either.
I think I hate with the parity that's starting to happen in League. It's making it way harder to pick some of these matches. It really is.
All that being said, I have New York winning this in 5.
Yeah, I'm going 5 again, and this is going to be just a battle, and it's going to be awesome.
Oh, I can't wait.
Philadelphia, they're so close to being there. I wouldn't be surprised if
this is a game where they pull it out.
Yeah, they pull out one against New York.
I can see that.
You couldn't really say New York looked bad in their loss. I just don't think they were ready for Boston.
Mm-hmm.
really is what it boils down to.
Yeah, they just were not ready for what was coming.
And they had a few days, they had like 2 days to kind of figure out mistakes. That's kind of a pain in the ass. Usually, especially when you're used to seeing film of Dreamcasper.
Right.
I mean, that's a thing. I mean, you have limited body of work, and you only see him play Sombra, so you're not really used to what he can do, and I think that threw him off.
For sure.
They want to be the New York XL again, so they're gonna, they're gonna try and pound him. But I don't think they will, but I think it'll be 5 games.
Yeah.
Or 5 matches.
I feel like this is gonna go to 5. No matter who wins.
Yeah. Because, first off, it's Philadelphia, and they never play a match where it's not.
Right.
That's the only problem with them. Their map differential is so bad because they go to 5 maps every damn match. But I'm going New York.
Same.
Okay, so that is going to do it for Thursday. And don't forget to hit a like, subscribe, join up the High Noon Pick'em contest. Remember, we get up to that Magic 200, you get a prize at the end of Stage 4. If you win. Don't forget to hit us up on Twitter, on Twitch. We also have a Facebook page now. So if you want to see some other stuff, we'll run a little different commentary on there. We will see you guys on Friday.
Catch you guys on the next one. Later.